We're on? Okay. I'd like to call to order the April 9th, 2024 Columbia Borough Council meeting. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilperson Zink.
Here.
Councilperson Stahl.
Here.
Councilperson Fisher.
Here.
Councilperson Price.
Here.
Councilperson Murphy.
Here.
Councilperson Bergard.
Here.
Here.
Mayor Lutz.
And I didn't hear you call his name.
Councilperson Kaufman.
Councilperson Kaufman is absent this evening. All right. Would anybody care to offer an invocation? All right. If you would like to, please rise.
Almighty God, we come to you with full hearts and hearts that are grateful and hearts that are full of hope. We ask your blessing not only on this community, but upon this room and this council and all who are gathered here tonight. Lord, pour out your spirit upon us and make it a place of cooperation, business, solutions, answers, and even questions. May they flow freely tonight. Watch over us. In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
And Councilperson Price, would you like to lead the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Announcement of executive sessions. There were none. Are there any additions, deletions, or reorganization of the agenda needed? Does anyone have anything they'd like to do? I'm not aware of anything. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as published?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the agenda as published. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Citizen comment on agenda items only. We don't have any signups. Is there anyone that wanted to make a comment that did not have the opportunity to sign up? All right. Minutes for approval. There are none. We will have several at the next meeting. Presentation and acceptance of reports, community development.
Yeah, on behalf of Councilman Kaufman, who's not here this evening for the community development, I'd like to do two items actually. First is acknowledge the planning and zoning report for March 2024, and the second is acknowledge receipt of the Columbia Market House report for March 2024.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions on either of those? No. Public Works and Property.
Yes, I'd like to acknowledge the Public Works and Property report for March 2024. Just noting that Borough Crews started collection on April 1st of yard waste, and then on the second and fourth Saturdays of the month, the Borough Farm is open for yard waste drop-off and take advantage of that good the compost. Any questions?
Nope. Great job, though. I know the first couple of weeks are tough on that yard waste because everyone has things.
Mhm.
So great job. Especially with the rain. That was awful. And safety and marketing.
Yes, I'd like to acknowledge receipt of the public safety reports from the Borough Police Department, the code compliance for March, and the codes compliance report and condemnation report for March 2024, the Penn State Health, EMS, Fire Department, and EMC report are forthcoming.
Thank you. All right. And then presentations, we have Julie Lermer from the Shade Tree Commission to present the 2023 annual report.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm here to present a report that was actually written by Amy Evans who just prior to accepting the Shade Tree Commission.
Is that
We
a one?
actually put this together.
Mark's going to make sure that's turned on. You really don't want to.
Testing. Okay, better.
There we go.
Okay,
There you
sorry. So let me start over. Good evening, everyone. I'm Julie Lamer, and I am currently chair of the Shade Tree Commission. I was saying that Amy Evans actually compiled this report in December before she stepped off the commission, but we didn't have the chance to present it. And so I want to say thank you to her for doing that. And at this point, I'd like to just touch on a few points. I guess the key activities and accomplishments over the last year. As far as, let me put that down a little bit. As far as trees planted, we did start a borough tree farm 2 years ago with Jake's help, which we greatly appreciate. We did plant 47 seedlings last year, with an additional 8 planted on October 27th. The first batch went in on May 2nd for a total of 55. Let me see. And the idea behind that is that we will use those trees when they are large enough for street tree plantings and for parks. So that was one of our big projects. We also had a fall planting. And we have 21 trees listed. Jake, we just talked about that. You think it might be 23. Those plantings occurred on October 28th and November 4th. And we split the plantings. Heather, you actually got a tree and named it Milton, and just reported that
Milton is the most handsome tree in the borough.
Okay.
I just want everyone to know
we're
that.
happy to hear that. We're happy that you're happy with it. Let's see what else. Under trees planted, we have our Arbor Day celebration coming up on the 26th of April, at which time we will plant a dedication tree to our honorary chair, who this year is Bill Cloyd. Moving on to tree care.
And that is happening at Columbia Crossing,
At
correct?
Columbia Crossing, yeah, at 6 p.m. We also, as far as tree care, we did a cleanup on June 6th, and we actually clean up for the car show, the big car show. April 20th, we participated in our first Earth Day at Sod Salvage. So that's something new. We're going to do it again this year. Let's see what else. I'm trying to hit on all of these key points. We did calculate that we logged over 380 hours of volunteer time between Jake's crew and Shade Tree and the park rangers to make all of these things happen. And I think that's a pretty cool accomplishment. We are working with the DCNR right now to assess hazardous trees and are working towards getting funding for removal of trees to help homeowners with those costs. So that's something that we are currently working on. As far as the administration of street tree ordinance, there were 12 requests to remove trees last year, 2 requests to plant, and 1 request to prune, excuse me. And we are working also with a local contractor to help mitigate tree sidewalk issues when those occur, so that we can find ways to work around to preserve the trees. Let's see. As far as planning activities, we're working on a street tree inventory that is approximately 50 to 60% completed. We're looking to finish that up in the next year or two. Let's see, what else can we touch on here? Under outreach, we have a tree society, which is our fundraising arm to help raise money to plant trees. And we currently have 32 individual and family members, 9 business members, and last year, our fund drive raised $2,940 in donations. Did the same thing for this year. And so, we're looking to those events and fundraisers to help us out with increasing our tree canopy. What are we looking forward to? I just mentioned completing the street tree inventory, removing the hazardous trees. We did adopt a street tree list. And we also are looking to make changes to our street tree ordinance. We are also looking to increase the commission seats from 5 to 7 instead of just having 5. Mark, we talked about that. Because we do have other residents interested in participating. Let's see what else. We did update thanks to Paula, our street tree permit has been updated and is now online, which is super helpful. And I think those are the big things that we're working towards. I know that you do have this attachment, so you can read through all of this if you're interested. And if you have any questions, feel free to email. I'd be happy to address. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me say thank you to the Shade Tree Commission. And I know you work, as you mentioned, close with the park rangers. I think we're entering year 3 now with the new planning down at the River Park.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you guys enough for what you did, especially you, for what you did, keeping the order on those
thanks.
plantings so that they survive. They're really looking good.
That's
I
part
don't
of
think
it.
would have happened if you guys wouldn't have done that.
Well, thank you. We planned everything and then we have to figure out ways to keep them watered and healthy. So yeah, we're working on that too.
That's one of the big things, you know, I mean, we can stick trees in the ground, but taking care of them is another point.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, keeping going. And you guys are doing a wonderful job at that, so thank you.
Thank you. And I hope to see some of you at Arbor Day, maybe, perhaps. Thanks.
All right. Mayor Lutz, Chief Brommer, Mayor has a proclamation for us.
Yes, but before I do, a couple comments. As you notice today, it's getting warm. People are going to be out there on bicycles. You know, we're a bicycle-friendly community. People are riding with the trail and all. People are on the streets. I want to caution people that they shouldn't be riding on the sidewalks. When they're riding on the street, they need to follow the same rules that motorized vehicles follow. And parents, please get your kids a helmet. It takes one fall, one crack on the head to ruin a life. And also, 2 other points on there. If you're going to ride at night, you should have lights on your bicycle, and hopefully some reflective clothing that you're wearing. And we do have bicycle license available. And when the police department issues a license, they copy down not only the name and that information, but they copy down the serial number of the bike.
For a hefty fee, $1.
Yeah, for $1, that's tough. And 23 years, I don't think we raised that. So that's pretty good.
Nope, you haven't, because that's how much I paid for my kids.
So you know, that's important. And to switch gears a little bit, with the warm weather, it's going to come to yard sales. And I want to caution people, we don't put yard sale signs or any kind of signs on borough property. That's street signs, stop signs, that kind of stuff, telephone poles. We don't tack them on there. The signs are supposed to be on your property. If they're going to be on someone else's property, you need to have permission of that person. You know, we want to see people have yard sales, and we want to see people enjoy it, and it brings people into the community. But please, don't pressure the community up. It's littering. And the other thing is, it's dangerous. When you put that tape on our street poles, when that tape is pulled off, it pulls the paint off. So then we got to repaint the pole. When the utility company works on one of the telephone poles, if there's nails and staples and everything else in there, they risk injury, and that's why you're not allowed to do that. So those two things, bikes and the yard sales, take notice of it. I want to thank the police department here in the past couple of weeks. I know our guys have been doing a wonderful job. They have made some very significant arrests in areas, target areas throughout the community, and I think it's starting to show. So, Chief, tell the guys thank you, and thank you, Chief, for pushing along there.
Thank you.
And now I'll read this proclamation that I have today.
All right.
Went on a good note. This is very important. A proclamation recognizing April 2024 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month and calling on Lancastrians in the borough of Columbia to build a community where sexual abuse, harassment, and assault are not tolerated, where victim survivors are supported, where accountability is delivered, and where all people have an opportunity to thrive without fear of abuse or assault. And it reads, whereas sexual abuse, harassment, and assault harm our community, and national statistics show that more than half of women and 1 in 3 men will experience sexual violence in their lives, and 1 in 5 women and 1 in 33 men have experienced an attempted or completed rape. And whereas children and young adults are most at risk for sexual assault, with 1 of 4 boys and 1 in 3 girls experiencing sexual assault before age 18. And whereas sexual abuse, harassment, and assault affects people of all racial, social, economic, and religious backgrounds, ages, ethnicities, abilities, and sexual orientations in the United States. And whereas members of the LGBTQ plus community are disproportionately at risk for sexual violence, with nearly half transgender people experiencing sexual assault in their lifetimes. And whereas people of color, especially Black women, are disproportionately at risk for sexual assault, and nearly 1 in 4 Black women are survivors of rape, and 41% of Black women experience sexual coercion and other forms of unwanted sexual contact, and 34% of Hispanic women reported unwanted sexual contact in their lifetime. And whereas, in addition to the immediate physical and emotional effects, sexual abuse has long-term consequences that may include post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, depression, homelessness, eating disorders, and suicide. And whereas YWCA, Lancaster Sexual Assault Prevention and Counseling Center, the designated rape crisis center in Lancaster County, has ensured continuation of services with 24/7 hotline access, no-cost counseling and therapy, advocacy and prevention and educational efforts. And whereas the goal of National Sexual Assault Awareness Month 2024 campaign Building Connected Communities is to create strong, connected communities that take care of one another, and addressing the social and structural detriments of health, such as education, income, employment, community safety, and social support, is crucial to improving the conditions in which we live, learn, work, and play. And whereas prevention efforts that make the connection between all forms of oppression, including racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ageism, ableism, and others, can change attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that contribute to sexual violence. And whereas we must empower, believe, and support victim survivors of sexual abuse, harassment, and assault. So now, therefore, I, Leo Lutz, Mayor of the Borough of Columbia, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We recognize the impact of sexual abuse, harassment, and assault in our community and stand alongside victim survivors, prevention educators, sexual assault counselors, therapists, and advocates to promote safe, healthy relationships, equality, and respect. So we have two members of the Y here tonight. You want to do a picture now?
Sure.
Then you're able to. They would like to do a picture.
Yep.
Then you're able to
Let's
leave.
do it.
if you want, I know you girls are working hard and put a lot of hours in, so.
Do you all mind being in a photo with us?
No.
You're allowed to say no.
I can get some, I can get where Eric was, so that it frames most of the other parts of
Here, I'll
town.
wear my thing.
Thank you.
You have someone want to do your picture? Oh, I don't know about that.
That's okay.
You want us to come up?
Sitting on my lap.
I think I'll sit on your lap.
So I want to hear about.
And my tree, he's very nice. He mostly just stands there, but sometimes he waves, like when he joins me, he waves.
You're not standing next to me either.
We're going to gather around for this photo, but this is important. This is real important to me. If you want to feel proud of you, be involved in something. And I know our police department feels the
I
same.
don't stand next to you. I'll stand
No,
next to you.
now Peter, move back over here.
Get ready. One, two, three.
Cheeseburger.
Okay.
Oh, was I? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. All right.
So with that, Chief, you have anything?
I do. I just wanted to sort of mention, along with the mayor's comments on the efforts by the officers, they certainly have, over the last 4 weeks, have been focusing on the street crime in the community. Large number of individuals were picked up on warrants. I know we removed at least 2 firearms off the streets as well. So we thank them for their efforts. And also Friday, April 19th, wanted to invite the public to come out and help out with the spring cleanup. Please reach out to Pam Armold in the police department. If you have an interest, we can provide some information and get you signed up. Thank you.
And we'll take groups.
We'd love to have groups.
All right. Next, we have, what is the ordinance number, Mark?
It is 949. I'll correct you. 949 is correct. Yep,
So the one I have in here is correct?
that's right.
Okay, so Tiffany, make sure we have that right on the minutes. It's ordinance 949. All right, we have ordinance 949 to amend chapter 74-15 related to key lockbox requirements. Do I have a motion to adopt that ordinance?
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilperson Stoll, second by Councilperson Price to adopt ordinance 949 to amend chapter 74-15 related to key lockbox requirements. It's basically just that one sentence we're removing to remove the fire chief from it. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns before we vote on this? I think it's a pretty easy one. All right, so I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl and a second by Councilperson Price to adopt ordinance 949 to amend chapter 74-15 related to key lockbox requirements. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilperson Price.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Bergard. Councilperson Kaufman. Councilperson Stahl.
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher.
Yes.
Councilperson Zink.
Yes. And just to remind everyone, the reason we roll called that is because it has in our in our bylaws that all ordinance votes are a roll call. Yes. Yes. So didn't want to forget, so I made a note for myself too. And the reason we did not have to have a public hearing on it, fun fact, is because it's not the zoning ordinance. We only have to do the public hearing for zoning ordinance. See, it's a learning experience doing it too. All right. Could I have a motion to award the 200 block of Union Street CDBG improvement project to the lowest received bidder, Construction Master Services LLC, for their bid in the amount of $299,994.80.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl and a second by Councilperson Price to award the CDBG project to Construction Master Services. Derek, you want to?
Sure. Excited to get another curb and sidewalk project going here in the borough. You can all see the bid tabulation attached to your packet. We've got good, 4 good bids here. I've worked, CS Davidson's worked with this contractor before. I have not personally, but I have no reason not to recommend an award tonight. So if anybody has any other questions on this.
So since you personally have not, I'm assuming that means Columbia has not either, correct?
Not if so, not within the last 10 years, put it that way. Yep. They have normally, this outfit is from up near in Sinking Springs. I will say that they traditionally bid on your projects. We've received bids from this group on the last few projects I can remember. They're normally on the higher side. They're usually just kind of taking a flyer on your work and getting it if it falls to them. But they got aggressive on this one. I know Reamstown put a very aggressive bid together, and yeah, so.
All right. Are there any questions or comments from anyone? All right. I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl with a second by Councilperson Price to award the 200 block of Union Street CDBG improvement project for to the lowest received bidder, Construction Master Services LLC, for their bid in the amount of $299,994.80. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. I tried that time. CDBG. I've been practicing all day.
Practice.
Okay. Could I have a motion to authorize the bill payments?
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Brigard to authorize the bill payments. Are there any questions, comments? I didn't think everything was pretty normal in there. All right. I have a, I did want to note the one thing that does stand out. The new grinder is in this check run. We won't get the reimbursement for that until the paperwork is submitted, and Jake and Lisa are working on that. So it looks like, I mean, we have that one big expense, but that was the grinder, but we have the grant coming to replace that, or to pay for some of that.
What happened to the old guy?
It was treated in. All right, so I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Brigard to authorize the bill payments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Now we're on to new business. There was a question brought up by Councilperson Murphy to discuss if we wanted to authorize staff to respond to PA Senate Bill 365 and its sister House Bill 1632 related to post-traumatic stress injury for first responders. Some iteration of this has gone through several, at least this session in Harrisburg, and I believe also last session. It has, well, I'll let Councilperson Murphy take it away. Sorry.
I'll let Mark speak this as well.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we do feel it has good intentions, and we don't always want to do well and do right by our first responders. It's just certain things in the bills as are presented just need some work. So I think the responsive group is looking for us just to express to our local representatives that we feel like there needs some work. And I've heard the same types of sentiments from other boroughs as well.
Mhm. There are several groups that, and I think it's important to state that they are very much in support of anything they can do to support our first responders. But there's concern that this bill becomes almost an unfunded mandate. And last time things have happened like this, insurance companies start dropping policies because of the cost to them. So we want to make sure we do it right. I did ask Chief Rhino that if he had any comments on this. I wanted to make sure he was here because I didn't want to do anything that goes against what our own fire department sees or needs. So, Chief, do you have anything you want to add to it? After.
I blocked down, and now an ambulance just got added to it, so. I don't know if you
Are you going down to check that out?
check
Chief?
that out. It's literally the next block over. That's what everybody's watching. Yeah, thank you. So I agree with Councilman Murphy and the manager there. I don't think in anything I've read or anything anybody's putting out there in quote opposition letters, it's not really that anybody's opposed the concept of supporting the emergency responders, and obviously that's important, but I sort of relate this to the Cancer Presumption Act, if you remember when that came in for firefighters. And, everybody felt at that point back then that, it was a similar thing. This is great. This is a slam dunk. Now, if I'm a volunteer firefighter, if I get cancer, boom, it was related to the job and I get paid and on and on. Well, it was not that simple at all, okay? And it was a whole lot of red tape, but what it absolutely did was the insurance carriers, mainly workers' comp, said, we don't have nothing to do with this because it's so open-ended. There's so much liability here as to what we could potentially pay out. We don't want anything to do with it. So everybody started losing their workers' comp. That's when we all ended up with the state workers' comp, and things kind of unraveled there. So in my mind, I think this is unfortunately headed down the same road. Is that to Kelly's comment? It's well intended, and what I see is that currently there's not enough language in workers' comp that this gets adequately covered. And that's what I think has borne this whole thing. And I agree with that part. And I agree that there needs to be better language so that if somebody experiences this, there's adequate coverage. But I also got to agree when I weigh both sides and the taxpayer and insurance and all that. I think what we're trying to do here is just make it open-ended like the cancer presumption and push it so far right and just say it's all covered. Well, that's sort of a problem though as well. And I think so. To me, as I read the letter that was included and that Mark had sent, I think that kind of sums it up and as Heather indicated, this is actually, I think, been going on since roughly the 2019 legislative cycle.
I knew it was several.
This has been going on several cycles. So I think there is definitely a need for it. I think everybody agrees with that. But I just don't think currently it's quite ready to pass. I think there needs to be some more back and forth, and the letters I've seen from the municipal associations, that's what they're saying. Like, we're in favor of this conceptually, but we have to figure out some better language. So personally, I wouldn't have heartache if that's the stance that council takes of that. We support it, but we need better language. So to me, that's the way I kind of analyze the whole thing as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You made a very good analogy comparing it to the cancer issue. That was, like I said, it's well intended, but it's too open ended, and it's going to leave us open for all kinds of insurance issues.
Madam President, if I may, the threat of losing insurance coverage is real.
Mhm.
You know, we all know doing budgets that insurance costs aren't going down. You know, and to, you know, sometimes to maintain your insurance carrier is a trick. I agree with what you're saying here and with what Chief Rhino has said, but I want to remind people that so that they don't get the wrong idea if you choose not to support these bills. We have we have assistance available for all our employees, our police department, and our first responders. If not only PTSD, but other mental health issues, any other issues, if they are having a problem due to the performance of their duties and possibly others, they can seek help and we will assist them. We have an open contract to handle that kind of stuff. So it's nothing that's public. You contact someone and you go and do it, and it's kept private. People don't need to be, ashamed or whatever have you that they're going and seeking help. That's all done differently. So I wanted to assure everybody that if council chooses to oppose this, we still do maintain that help. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will note that this is a legislative priority for PSAB. This is one of the things that we vote on if we want to make this a legislative priority and have them lobby for or against. This has been a thing because a lot of boroughs feel it would truly, one claim could bankrupt a borough. And it is also opposed by PSATs as well, the Township Association. So,
like you said, that would be my biggest concern with both, the way this is written and the way the cancer one was written, is, one claim could bankrupt us and or we become uninsurable. And that's not a good position for any borough to be in, or any individual.
any municipality.
Yeah.
So, do we want to take action to authorize staff to, send a letter to Senator Almond and Representative Miller urging them to vote no on these bills?
That would be my request.
All right. Councilperson Murphy, would you like to make that motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we consider contacting Senator Almond and Miller and just advise them of our position that we are, while we feel it's good intention, that we are against Pennsylvania State Bill 365 and Senate Bill 365 and House Bill 1632 related to post-traumatic stress injury for first responders, and urge them to vote against it as it's currently written.
And is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Murphy and a second by Councilperson Stahl to authorize staff to respond to Senator Almond and Representative Miller to urge them to vote no in its current form to PA Senate Bill 365 and House Bill 1632 related to post-traumatic stress injury for first responders. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Next, we have the curb ramp replacement project that Derek would like to fill us in on and is asking us to authorize him to advertise.
Sure, we talked about this one a little bit earlier this year. It's here now. This is the ramp and concrete work that we need to do to get all of our ADA ramps up to speed to allow Jake and his crew to pave the streets that they'd like to pave this year. A little addition on this, and again, this kind of ties back into our curb and sidewalk discussions. We want to get our house in order while we look at getting the rest of the borough in order. So as part of this ADA ramp contract, I'm including an allotment of 4-inch sidewalk to repair all of the damaged and heaved sidewalk that's around the borough building here. We are going to be replacing this ramp out here at 3rd and Locust. We know that there's a couple of cracked up squares. There's a couple heaved from the trees. We're going to take care of all of that as part of this project. I'm asking for your authorization to advertise this. I will also note that we do have, Jake will laugh, I've been avoiding this ramp, I think, ever since I became your borough engineer, and that's that's the ramp over here at 3rd and Cherry that has a post right in the middle of where I need to put a ramp.
Yeah.
So I have spoken with both the tenant of the building and the property owner. They are both open to working with the borough to do what needs to be done to get a ramp in there. We had the architect from the Harbor Board take a walk down and look at it. His assessment was that canopy actually is not historic, that it was added at a later time. I've asked Chris to do some research and see if we can figure out what that building actually used to look like.
I may have it right here.
I'm so sorry. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. So we're gonna research what that building used to look like, and we're gonna run this through the proper channels. So we are gonna bring this to the Harbor Board, discuss what we need to do down there. But as of right now, all we think we're gonna do is probably put a header across and probably put 2 beams in where the one was on the corner, so that we can get a corner ramp. We know that corner has long been complained about and been a pain for a lot of borough residents, including the caterer who rents that building. So this one's unfortunately not as straightforward as some of our past ADA ramp replacements, but we'll get it done.
Yeah, that's going to be a kind of wicked one.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's going to be right up there with the corner down at St. Peter's.
Again, there's been many times Jake and I have been driving the street and he goes, and we have that one. I go, just keep driving. No, it's time.
It's time. All right. So the next one will be that getting rid of that horrendous drop at Avenue I and 4th. One by Holy Trinity. That's like this.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's a monster
That's
drop.
bad.
We're aware.
Yeah. That's like a monster drop up at Taylor Square.
Yep.
All right. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ADA ramps and then spot replacement of concrete around Borough Hall. Does anyone have a problem voting on this one tonight? No. Do I have a motion to authorize staff to advertise the 2024 curb ramp replacement projects?
So moved.
A motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Brigard to authorize staff to advertise the 2024 curb ramp replacement project. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Mark, you sit there when you're writing this on here and think, how can I trip Heather up when she's reading? Like, what words can I put together that would make her?
I have to confess, there are times when I actually giggle when I'm putting this together. I'm like, yeah, I got her.
Well, at least she didn't put on stickle and bumpies. All right. Next, we have another request from Derek to authorize the borough engineer to submit the subdivision plan set for the Ridge Avenue Public Works Facility Project to the Lancaster County Planning Commission and the Columbia Borough Planning Commission on behalf of the borough. So, Derek,
This is a big one.
show us what you got for
It's a
us.
big one. We're excited about this one. So there are two plans that are included in your packet. One shows the existing conditions out there on Ridge Avenue. I can walk you through the property right off of Ridge, of course, with the three structures on it is the property owned by Mr. Funk. That's who we are acquiring an access easement from as part of this project. The existing structure that you see that is part of the Ridge Avenue property that we're building that will become our future public works is on one parcel. There is a small sliver of a parcel to the page right of that, and then we have the larger remaining tract over on the right-hand side of your page. So right now we have 3 parcels that we own at Ridge Avenue, and of course the Funk parcel is included. As you move on to the proposed conditions, it shows the 2 parcels to the right of our property are just going to be combined into one. That is a total of 5.7 acres that we are basically on the eastern side there that we're reserving for what we've discussed as a future sale. I don't, unless council decides to retain those parcels, we're setting this up such that that piece can be sold along with an access easement to a common driveway that we're installing for our public works facility. You see where the public works building is, and the access easement that now goes through the Funk property will be part of that parcel. So we have road frontage as soon as this is done. So again, this is our kind of first step to clean this property up. It'll be submitted to the Lancaster County Planning Commission, and then the Borough Planning Commission will also review and act on that. Again, seems like old hat here since we've been through a couple of these with the Blue Lane properties at the plate. Same process.
So,
I was just gonna say, just one thing, the access is not an easement.
No, it's part of the,
We
you're
will
correct.
own that property. I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
You're correct, Evan. Yep, I misspoke.
and I thought when we were talking about this, we were saying we were going to purchase from where our easement was down to the end. Are we only purchasing a sliver of it now?
Correct.
That was always the plan, just
Oh,
a sliver.
okay.
And then the adjacent neighbor, if they want to, they have the ability to buy the other piece.
The other
If they
part
want
of
to go ahead and go do that, but
it. Okay. I thought we were buying that and then gonna sell it to the neighbor.
because of the process public has to go through of selling land, it's easier if they sell it private to private than us get involved and then we
Yeah. Okay.
have to transfer it somehow.
All right. Cool. Any other questions?
Does our access road, does that offer access to that other parcel
It does,
as well?
yeah, there'll be an
Correct.
access easement over that for them to get to theirs.
Todd, if you zoom in on the proposed, if you can see there's text on there. You see where it says existing parcel line to be abandoned?
That's exactly
Okay, so that's actually where the connection point is. That little panhandle comes over from lot 2 and connects to lot 1, and will of course include a dedicated. So lot 2 will have a dedicated access easement over our driveway. So the borough will own the driveway, and we'll own everything included in lot 1, and then we'll provide them access. The line you see we have the building setback line shown on there, but that kind of gives you a little visual as to what our fence is going to look like. We'll have a fence across that panhandle and then come straight across with our gate, so that anybody using lot 2, they're not going to enter the Borough Public Works property. They'll come to the edge and they'll have to turn left instead of being able to come into our lot. And Jake and I were out there with tape measures and making sure that where this line was going to fit would work for all of the turning movements he needs, and also provide enough access to that lot 2.
And this is gonna give us enough space for everything Jake needs and now and possibly if we need other things in the future.
We've gone through and looked at the size. I think it's really pretty perfect for what we need out there. And don't forget, we're keeping the office space currently that's on South Front Street on the, let's say, the east side of 441. We'll retain that as well. So we'll have the office space there, and if later on we, or whatever, we can build an office out here, maybe everything will move, but we have space. We're good. Both outdoor stores and in space inside the building to do what we need to do.
Okay. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't cutting off too much.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then put us in a bad position.
Yeah, that property line, if any of you have been out if any of you have been out there, the property line that we showed between lot 1 and lot 2 runs right along the existing fence that separates the two parcels. And not only does this help us preserve that fence and save some money, but remember, we have an Act 2 covenant out here that we have to resolve as part of this. That's the dividing line also in the Act 2 covenant between the area that's going to be capped by asphalt and the area that's going to be capped by stone. So long term, we think you have plenty of space. Short term, this is going to be the simplest path forward and the most cost effective for the borough to use the property.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Does anyone have a problem voting on this tonight? No?
This is just-
I know. I know. I'm glad to see it moving forward. That being said, do I have a motion to authorize the borough engineer to submit the subdivision plan set for the Ridge Avenue Public Works facility to the County Planning Commission and the Borough Planning Commission on behalf of the borough?
So moved.
And I have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Brigard, to authorize the borough engineer to submit the subdivision plan set for the Ridge Avenue Public Works facility to the County Planning Commission and the Borough Planning Commission on behalf of the borough. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, we have a special event application for St. Paul Episcopal Church for a resource fair at Maple Park on Saturday, May 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Are there any questions? I seem pretty. Yeah,
Should be no cost of borough. That's
Nope. No cost.
I'm not familiar with the parking setup. There's no fence or there's a pathway from that parking lot into the park.
There's no fences around it. If you parked up there, it's easy. You can walk right down the alleyway and everything through. So it's pretty decent parking around there.
Yeah. Yep. Are there any questions, comments? Is anyone willing to make a motion to approve the special event application for St. Paul Episcopal Church? I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Brigard, to approve the special event application for St. Paul Episcopal Church for a resource fair at Maple Park on Saturday, May 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? And then we have the special event application for the 19th annual Clifford Edmond Men's 5-on-5 Basketball Tournament at Maple Park on Saturday, June 1st and Sunday, June 2nd from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. We see this, well, this is annual. So we see it every year. Wait, I don't think it happened last year, did it? It did not happen last year. So, does anyone have any questions on this? Concerns on voting on this tonight?
Question, where are we as far as the reconstruction of that park?
Derek and I were just talking about that today. We're going to have an update meeting here soon. And I told Derek that before we get too far into it, we want to groundbreaking ceremony, and if we can, try to invite Secretary Dunn down and have a little bit of a celebration honoring all that good's going on down here. So
Will these events?
I don't see us breaking ground until
Next year.
next year. I mean, we'll do we got to get through final engineering and everything, so we'll be doing that in the
Yeah.
fall. I see us breaking ground next year, so we'll make sure that when we hit that point, we'll cover it.
It's good to note for future utilizing that part. This year will be okay, next year will be a different story.
Right.
Yep.
Thanks, Mayor.
All right. Would anyone like to make the motion to approve the special event application for the 19th annual Clifford Edmond Men's 515 Basketball Tournament?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Fisher, to approve the special event application for the 19th annual Clifford Edmond Men's 515 Basketball Tournament at Maple Park on Saturday, June 1st, 2024, and Sunday, June 2nd, 2024, from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Staff reports, comments, and announcements. We have Solicitor Gable.
Not too much this evening. In the last couple of weeks, we've been going back and forth with the potential future buyer of the wastewater treatment plant to get that indemnification language taken care of. Just trying to get the approval of their title insurance company for that language. So I'm hopeful we are very close on that, which should hopefully allow that sale to move forward finally. And Mark just reminded me that we need to get the curb and sidewalk ordinance done. So I will make sure that I've finished my review in time to get that hopefully in the packet at your next meeting and get authorization maybe to advertise that. So we will be working on that as well. So. Okay.
And is the lease done for the firehouse?
I need to do one more thing with it, then I'm going to get it over to Mark hopefully the next day or two here. Yep.
So we can stop losing money?
Yes. Let's stop losing money. Absolutely.
Borough Engineer Ronaldo.
I have an update that I have submitted the letter of intent for the 900 now and 1000 block of Walnut Street for your next round of CDBG applications. So I think it's a pretty strong application. We'll go through the formal application round then in the next month. And again, that's due by the end of May. So I'll be back with some resolutions and we'll work through your planning commission and Lancaster County Planning Commission and everything you need there.
Sounds good.
And also, I just wanted to announce that I have been working with the residents that surround the McGinnis property. They've all received a packet of information regarding what our intentions with the subdivision are and how it impacts their properties. I've received over half of them back. I think 4 out of the 7 property owners have already agreed to the terms of what we're doing with the subdivision plan. I'm going to work on getting the next 3 done in the next month. And again, my plan is to be back to you very soon requesting authorization to submit that subdivision plan. So.
Lots of subdivision plans.
Yep.
All right. Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Stivers.
Thank you. First, if you have not met both of our new staff, Courtney Cooper, Tiffany Toomey. If you can't remember the names, it's TT and CC. It's just a whole lot easier that way. But if you haven't met them, they're here. We have a great team here. I just want to make sure you guys had a chance to say hello. More good news. I love CC and TT. It's easy for me. Dyslexics like
You get
even.
CCTT and I get CDBG.
Yes, guys. Received a very encouraging email today. Heather saw it as well, and that is that our audit has been submitted and accepted by the state on time. So it's something we were working towards, and very glad we got all that done. We plan to have them here at this first meeting in May, I believe it is. 14th. And they'll give their audit report to us and go through it all. But it was good. It was a good report. So I'm encouraged by all they're doing. We have a great finance team. They're working hard to get things done. So I appreciate that. Heather's probably going to dive into this more, but just a reminder that the PSAB conference is coming up here, and we'll need to authorize a delegate for that meeting. I need to know who wants to attend so we can get our registrations in. So if you plan on attending, please email me this week or next week. Let me know if you want to go up there for that, either the full thing or just one day, whatever you want to do. Just let me know on that. At the end of this month, the IT migration continues. Chief and I had a long meeting with IT company today to talk about the new phone system. I think after about an 8-hour meeting, they got all the lines right, the connections right, and the extensions right. If all goes well, Monday the 29th, they will be here to physically place all the phones around the office and get a few of them set up and ready to switch over. And then on 30th, they'll port the numbers over and switch the phone system over. So there'll probably be a slight disruption. I'll announce it again next meeting. But we'll do the best we can to keep all the lines of communication open through that time period. But this will be one of the last big switchovers we have on the IT system and get that done.
Does that mean we're going to get different hold music?
Oh, yeah. We're putting the Who on. I don't care what all it says. We're using
Yeah,
the
because I
Who.
really like that. Dun, 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 dun.
She likes Backstreet Boys, so I'm not doing that. And the last thing is I heard a rumor. I think it's true, but I believe I'm correct in saying that someone in this room may have been the winner of, after weeks and weeks of studying the history of Columbia, someone won the trivia award last Thursday night. Do you remember who that was?
I just know that Eric went down.
Maybe that's not why he's not here tonight. Maybe it's just too much for him to handle. The loss.
Yeah, he's just a little embarrassed. He went down hard.
I told Heather, in all seriousness, it's really cool that someone on Borough Council takes that much time and energy to know the history of this community and can spout it off like that. So I think it makes us look good that we know and care about this town and know the background and the history. So anyway, congratulations, Heather. Well done.
In all fairness, he did have several questions on General Shannon that I was able to answer quickly because of the
You just
research
did all
I had done on
your-
the bridge. My aunt was very disappointed because she said, "You didn't even go to all of the lectures." So, all right. Boards, commissions, and committees, upcoming meetings. HARB is Wednesday, April 10th, which is tomorrow. Also tomorrow is CCAT, and they are still meeting here, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, CCAT is here
Yep.
tomorrow as well as HARB. Parks and Rec is Thursday. Planning Commission is next Tuesday, the 16th, and Shade Tree Commission is Monday, the 22nd. In your packet, you have the approved minutes from February from the Shade Tree Commission. And Borough Council comments. We'll start with Councilperson Burgard. All right.
Don't you want to text Mike up that?
It's going fast and furious now because with all like the street closures and stuff. So.
Well, I'm kind of like holding off. I got a campaign.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool.
Big launch coming.
Big blitz, media blitz. Okay, cool.
I thought of a question when we were talking about curb replacement, and I think it might be for Derek. Do you remember a couple of months ago, this man came and talked about the big trucks that were going through the alleys and was doing damage to, do you remember that?
Mhm.
Says Brendan Glass. Has anything been done? Does anyone know?
I don't think so.
Any kind of follow through on that?
Let's talk to Lon.
Okay.
Okay.
Bart, I'm honestly not sure if I was at that meeting.
I don't think you were.
Was I?
No.
Jake, you at that one?
I wasn't at the meeting.
I could have been. What had to do with the.
It's Avenue H and 9th.
And, yeah.
this problem has been addressed.
You know where-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there by the school.
Oh, I remember that now. Now I do. I'm sorry, that was a while ago.
Yeah,
It was more than a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on like a 3.
They're going up to ninth now.
Birds of data.
Instead of turning at eighth, they're going the whole way up to
That
ninth.
was like 6 to 9 months ago.
Yeah.
At 7,
Sounds really bad.
and the suggestion was to go down in back of CVS and come up from there, because Sixth Street had a larger turning
Yeah.
radius.
Well, now they're,
So
they're,
now it's, the problem is at Ninth Street.
well, they pull out at, onto ninth,
Mm-hmm.
so.
But from that, I don't think we had any follow-up or anything we were doing it, did we?
Yeah, there's, yeah.
okay, just,
All right. Yeah, it is. No, thank you. Okay.
So you recall from last meeting, there was, Ryan brought up, initiated discussion regarding the squatters legislation that, I know the state of Florida just recently put through. So, try, to talk with Mark some more about this, but trying to get some information together to the council, so we can hopefully, support, contact our state legislators, see if we can't get something done. It's, to protect the rights of the property owners, because it's a real issue. And as Jack said, they've had a couple here in town already. I wasn't aware, but it's nice. I was one I wasn't aware of. Yeah. So look for that, hopefully.
Nothing, thanks.
Councilperson Stahl. All right. As Mark mentioned, the PSAB conference is coming up. We have 2 weeks before the deadline to register. So if you are going to go or want to go, please let Mark know. Along with that, at this point, the only people confirmed going are me and Mark. So we have to get a resolution to PSAB on who we want our voting delegate to be. I'd like to do that sooner rather than later. If anyone would like to say either me or Mark, we can bring a resolution to the meeting at the end of the month to do that. I don't know. And I just want to thank, I know Eric usually does this, but since he's not here, I have to pick up the slack for him. He's, partying on the cruise. But I want to thank Chris and all of the presenters that presented for the lecture series. Thank Bonnie Link from the Coffee Corner for the food and everything. This spring lecture series was great. It brought so many, there were an average of about 85 people coming to hear these different topics. And they're going to do some in the fall. If anyone has any suggestions on things that they would like to hear lectures on, or they think would be, that people would be interested in hearing, let Chris know. We already do have one suggestion, and that is Libby King. We would like to have a whole lecture on Libby King.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
That was the madam. Yeah. You can do that. You want to do that lecture? So it truly was, and it was all about what we envisioned the market house to be for, is the community gatherings, bringing people together, hearing about the history of the town, hearing about the different, all different things. So thank you. That was really great. And as a bonus, it raised money for the Historical Society to work on the dungeon restoration project. Yeah. So that's huge. That's great. I love to see our history, preserved and told and everything else. So that was really great. Thank you again. And our next meeting is 7 p.m. on Thursday, April 25th. Council will hold a regular meeting. The reason it's Thursday is because Tuesday, the 23rd is primary election day. There are no election location changes for Columbia Borough this time. I was talking to the lady in the elections office. We have no changes, so everyone should vote the same place they did last year, and that, well, at least for the spring. So that is that. And could I have a motion to adjourn? All right.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Price and a second by Councilperson Murphy to adjourn at 8:10 PM. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? There we go. We have checks to sign.